Our daily Bible reading today is from Psalm chapter 25 through Psalm chapter 30. And our daily devotional here at Carrollton Christian Fellowship today is from the very beginning of Psalm chapter 25. So verse 1 through 11. And what we see there is we see that David is encouraging, and then we can learn from what David has learned in his life of that it is better to humble and not to self-elevate ourselves. So in verses 1 through 2 of Psalms chapter 25 there, David states that he has placed his trust in the Lord for his deliverance. So David is telling us what he has done, what a key thing in his life has been, and that's that he's placed his trust in the Lord to deliver him from the things and from his enemies, but also for his eternal place. And David is no longer placing his deliverance in himself. And then in verse 3 through 5, David states, and David goes in and talks about those who trust in the Lord, they wait on the Lord. Those who have placed their trust in the Lord, and those who have placed their trust for the Lord to deliver them, and the Lord to deliver us in our eternal state, that we wait on the Lord. That's a key characteristic of those who have placed their trust in the Lord. And that those who do not do those things, those who have not placed their trust in the Lord, and they are not waiting on the Lord, and they are waiting instead in their own strength for their deliverance and in order to deliver them or to gain something, that these individuals, that they are at risk of having treacherous motives. So these individuals who have not placed their trust for their deliverance and for their eternal placement with the Lord in that relationship, with how they have relationship with the Lord in eternity, those who have not placed it in the Lord, that they are at risk for having treacherous motives in anything that they do. And so this is a good warning for us, and a good warning that even look and think about anyone in life, anyone who has not placed their trust in the Lord, that the Lord will provide for them and deliver them. How do they go about doing things? How are their motives in how they get out of situations? They are always treacherous in those motives. They always use and abuse others in order to get out of that, in order to save themselves and to save their skin. So let that be a lesson to us, that we don't want and we don't desire to take advantage of others and be treacherous in our actions. So let's seek and let's trust the Lord that He will deliver us and that He will also lead us and guide us. And then actually in verse 4 and 5, David lays out for us what it is and what marks those who do wait on the Lord. Verse 4 and 5, what will the Lord do? The Lord will show me His ways. David says that the Lord will show him His ways, and the Lord will teach him what his paths are, what the Lord's paths are. And the Lord will lead him in truth and will teach him. So the individual who is trusting in the Lord, they will be led by the Lord. The Lord will show them things. The Lord will teach them His truth. The Lord will teach them everything that the Lord desires and has for them. And then in there, for you are the God of my salvation. On you I wait all the day. So that's where David has placed his trust, not only for where he is delivered now, but also where he is delivered and how he will have relationship with the Lord for eternity. David realizes and knows that it's nothing in what he can do, and it's nothing in himself. And then in verse 6 through 7, we see a plead for the Lord to remember and to see David's later actions. When David has, and since David has placed his faith in the Lord and placed his trust in the Lord to deliver him, David says, please, Lord, do not remember my early years. Do not remember those things I did when I placed my trust in myself. But please, Lord, remember these years and remember these days and my actions and what you have done since I have placed my trust in you. So that's a key thing and a key plea that David goes before the Lord in. It's nothing that David has done for the Lord. It's nothing that David has done in serving. It's nothing that David has done in serving the kingdom, but it's all about what the Lord has done in David's life since David placed his faith in the Lord. So that's what David asks that the Lord will remember. And then in verse 8 through 11, we see how God instructed and worked in David. It's through and it's by David being humble. Verse 8 through 11 says, "Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore, he teaches sinners in the way. The humble he guides in justice, and the humble he teaches his way. All the path of the Lord are mercy and truth to such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. For your name's sake, O Lord, pardon my iniquity, for it is great." So David is trusting in the Lord in order to deliver him and in order to pardon all of his ways. All of these ways of his younger years, David is trusting in the Lord for that. So let us go forward and let's be humble and let's learn by even the things that David learned. Let's let David encourage us in how we go forward in the things of the Lord. So take care, have a blessed one, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.